So we want to welcome Craig Campobasso today. He is a multiple award-winning filmmaker and Emmy-nominated casting director. He was just 15 when he started in the entertainment business, landing his first national commercial for McDonald's, and spoke his first line of dialogue to Tuesday Weld in a movie of the week. And he graduated from high school at age 17 and then went to work behind the scenes on such blockbuster film classics as Frank Herbert's Dune. This would be the original Dune movie, directed by David Lynch, and two Arnold Schwarzenegger movies, Conan the Destroyer and Total Recall. And Craig began his casting career on Steven Spielberg's Amazing Stories. He received an Emmy nomination for Outstanding Casting for a series on David E. Kelley's Picket Fences, and Craig's casting career spans 3 decades. His mother, Marie Donna King Campobasso, told him from the time she was pregnant with him, she knew he'd become a writer, and he fulfilled that prophecy when he was just 26, after he experienced a life-changing spiritual awakening, and we will ask him about what that was. So that's when the autobiography of an extraterrestrial saga book series was born, and Craig's passion to write stories that provoke the reader to think, to raise their consciousness, and to expand their mind about creation while still entertaining in the Hollywood tradition. Craig directed, wrote, and produced the short film Stranger at the Pentagon, which if you haven't seen it, it's wonderful. That was adapted from the popular UFO book authored by the late Dr. Frankie Strange's. September 2014, it won Best Sci-Fi Film at Burbank International Film Festival, selling out completely, which is the first for the festival. And 2015, it won a Remy Award, which is amazing, at the World Fest Houston International Film Festival for Best Sci-Fi Short. So Craig has been on a lot of radio shows, such as Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie, and also been a guest on Open Minds with Regina Meredith and Beyond Belief with George Norrie on Gaia.com. He's appeared on the History Channel's Ancient Aliens, and we're going to specify today, he's written a number of books. We're especially going to look at the Extraterrestrial Species Almanac, the ultimate guide to greys, reptilians, hybrids, and Nordics. And that was released in 2021, and we had Greg on Night at the Roundtable for that. It's an Amazon bestseller. And then also had him on for the UFO Hotspot Compendium, All Places to Visit Before You Die, All the Places to Visit Before You Die or Are Abducted. And that was released from MUFON Books in 2022. And now his amazing film, The Extraterrestrial Species Almanac, the documentary, will start streaming in February 2025. It's available now. I'm going to get a copy. You can purchase that, the E.T. Almanac documentary DVD, at autobiography.com/other-books. So the book is available there as well, Craig?
It is, yeah. All my books are available. The Autobiography of an Extraterrestrial Saga book series is on the homepage. So if they just go to autobiographyofAnet.com, that'll be on the homepage. Then in the tab, if you click other books, you can buy the DVD there, and then you can buy this.
Yeah, that's
There.
fun.
And so if you
Yeah.
want me to sign them to your family members or friends or to yourself, I can even sign the DVDs. I'll just take the plastic off and sign the cover for you. I got a beautiful bronze pin to make it show up really well. So
Perfect. Wonderful. Just go to Craig Campobasso YouTube channel and you'll see the ET Species Almanac documentary. And it is so amazing. I'm just going to play it so that I can ask a few questions.
You'll see the teas are there, not the documentary. You'll see the teas,
exactly.
not the documentary.
Yeah, I did mean to specify that. Thank you.
I love that you're so excited. I'm excited now.
This book is so flippin' amazing. I have it on my Kindle. It's and I was rereading portions of it today, and I just thought there's so much here. And the thing is about this book is that you will go through, I'll just talk about the book a wee bit. You'll see how there are all these different beings in the table of contents: Cyclops, clones, digital immortals, Itapurians, Clormers, the Lady of Light, the Melchizedeks, the Men in Black, Alcyon Pleiadians, Sagittarians, Blue Syrians, on and on. You go to anything that pops out at you, if you want to do it that way,
Yeah.
and you'll read about, for instance, I'll go to Human Syrians. And what Craig does first, and I'll ask, how does this translate to a documentary? But what he does to begin with is just explain the universal origin. So human Syrians are from Sirius B, and then the physical characteristics about how tall and their facial features and coloring, etc. And then their belief system, which kind of gives away who these people are if you were to meet them, how they're going to behave toward you and other people. And in this case, the human Syrians, some star nations call them blissful spiritual warriors, which is hard for a lot of us to grasp how a warrior can be a
Right.
peaceful being, and yet they can be. And I've channeled about that. And then their cosmic agenda. What are they doing out in the universe? How are they treating other star nations? And then the technology, which will blow you away. Absolutely amazing. So in this case, human Syrians have galactarian motherships, starships, thought ships, fleet ships, and scout ships. And they talk about the healing technologies, cellular regenerator, in this case, their consciousness abilities. Generally, they're telepathic. We're really very much, very basic, very primitive here on Earth because
Yes.
we're not as
Yes, for sure.
telepathic. And then their dimensional capacity, whether they spend their time in the universe, what dimensions, and it's just brilliant. And then there are these wonderful images.
Yes.
Some of them look really so real, almost like photographs. And this is
Yeah.
beautiful celestial being. So I
Yeah.
mean, a light being. So there's all of that. The pictures are, of course, in black and white for the most part, I think. But then we come into the idea of this documentary, which is so colorful. It kind of broadens the mind, even as you're just looking at the teaser, you're realizing there are a lot of colors we just don't know about, having
Yeah.
come from the third dimension. So I want to ask, first of all, a few basics. What's the story behind how you managed to get this made? Because everybody wants to make a film in LA, but you did it
Right.
several times.
Well, I've been casting for a very long time, but I've been in the film business and, I definitely watch all of the directors I've worked with, big directors, how they've directed films. I started directing and I did Stranger at the Pentagon short film, which you said. I've directed some other things. I just finished directing another film about a month ago. Um, and so when the agent brokered this deal for me to do this book for MUFON, right? For MUFON Books, which is under Red Will Lizer Publishers. Um, they send it out on the wires to like everybody, to like all these outlets. I had no idea that they did that. And I started getting calls from production companies wanting to make it into a documentary.
Wow.
And then I went, I'm a filmmaker. I can get into one, but wow, I haven't even written the book yet. And so I just put it on the back burner. And then once the book was out and it really started doing extremely well, it's still doing extremely well. And I just called three of my also documentarian friends who, are top editors, post-production, producers, all of that. They've won tons of awards on their own films and just sort of brought the team together. And then, we went out and we shot all of the individual people, right? We shot them on green screen. In the film, I wanted this film to look totally different than anything
Yeah.
anybody's ever seen. So everyone's going to have some kind of background that's futuristic, extraterrestrial, and everyone has a totally different background. And it's beautiful to watch, not only that, but you know, you're going to see all the extraterrestrials in color. We've done CGI, computer generated images. We have, contactees who have been in contact with extraterrestrial beings for over 20 years. They have actual photographs. They allowed us to use it in the actual documentary. And they explain exactly who they are, why they came here, what are they doing here, et cetera, what I just found so fascinating. Then once you get hours and hours and hours and hours of footage with everyone, then you got to figure out how you're going to sew it together.
Yes, yeah, yeah,
So, that was what I did with, my two producers in Germany. And we eventually found a way to weave it seamlessly so that each one flows into the other. We didn't just do, okay, here's your section on grays, here's your section on reptilians. We sort of let it all go organically so it keeps it interesting for the viewer, right? So, and again, I hired a new artist who did all of the artwork in beautiful color. And so we could animate some of those images, which we did. We also did, CGI, um, all that kind of stuff. So we had different platforms on each one when they come up, and you get to see all the different looks from if it was Sirius or wherever. And you know, I will tell you, everyone who has seen it thus far, and people are starting to write me because, literally the DVD became available a couple of weeks ago. And, they're emailing and calling me and said, I am so glad I have it on DVD. I have to watch this like a
yeah,
hundred times.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Right. And people I showed it to because I wanted to see their reaction to it who aren't into this stuff at all were absolutely blown away and said, I never really thought about what was out there, but it all makes sense.
yeah, yeah,
And it has sort of opened their mind to, the idea of it and that kind of thing. And, to hear various people who are hybrids,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
People who are, experts in their field. We have Barbara Lamb, who's an expert on hybrids, right? She's written 2 books on it. She's
yeah,
done 3 to 5,000, something like that, regressions on people who have had positive contact and negative contact. And also Yvonne Smith, who's one of the top in the UFO field of regressing people. So, you get to hear all of their years and years and years of knowledge as well. So it's really fascinating. I still, when I see it, I had to watch it last night to do some clips, and I don't even get tired of watching it.
yeah, no, no,
Yeah,
it's so full of life, and you feel like you're traveling through the universe as you're
yeah,
looking at all these
you
beautiful.
are.
It's absolutely amazing. Some more beautiful than others, some are maybe a little
Yes.
intimidating, but I'm going to bring it up now, and it's only maybe about 50 seconds or so. If you don't feel like bringing it up right now, you can look at it later. But let's just play pretty much, yeah, from the start.
Yeah, there you go. That's good.
Unfortunately, as I was recording this during Craig's interview, the beautiful soundtrack did not come through, but you can certainly hear that music and watch the whole preview if you go to Craig Campobasso's YouTube channel. coming soon and available now.
Available now, yes.
Now, can you tell us what this person is who is sort of the almond-shaped eyes and very pale,
Yeah, it's a
gray?
hybrid. Yeah,
It's a
it's a
hybrid.
hybrid
Okay.
between a gray and a human,
And a human. All right.
and they're benevolent. They a lot of the beings from Zeta Reticuli. I mean, these kind of beings are everywhere in the universe. With the big sort of buggy eyes and that kind of stuff. Various sizes, heights. Some are this little tiny thing. Some are giant and tall. Um, but they are very benevolent and they prefer to be called Zeta humans if they're
Okay.
from Zeta Reticuli, or if they were from Cetus, they would prefer to be called Cetus humans for us in identification, because grays on Earth have a negative connotation,
Yes,
right?
they do.
Because they're the ones who do the abductions. So in the documentary, there is an amazing gray section that goes through the positive races and then the negative races as well.
All right. And then we go into this sort of flotilla, this flight
Yeah.
ships over the Southwest, these round metallic ships, which is just amazing. And do you have any idea, is that just an image you wanted to use, or do you
Well,
use them?
this is just an image, but for instance, in the current ancient Lemuria, which is currently the hub is below Mount Shasta, and they call it Telos. Originally, Telos was spread out over 3/4 of California on the surface.
Wow.
And then when the big Atlantean wars and things happened, they had the foresight, some left and some went underground. So we have a whole section in the book on Agartha of
Yeah.
all of the beings that live below as well. The woman who does it actually knows an Agarthan. Has been friends with this woman for years, so she has firsthand knowledge. And but for instance, there's a commander there they call him Commander Anton, and he's in charge of the Silver Fleets. So he's in charge of from there, and I forget where all of what they call it, but where all of the states sort of merge together, like
In a
where
four
where
quarters, the four
yeah,
quarters.
where's the Stanley Hotel? Been there, it's sort of where they all go, but that's where they come out. They come out at Mount
Oh
Shasta,
my
you
word.
know. Yeah, they when they come out and that kind of thing. So when you see ships that are in their plasma form, which is light,
Mhm.
that means they have changed the molecular structure to the fourth dimension so
Okay.
that they can go through solid things.
Yeah.
And then when they get, to their landing pad on the inner Earth, then they just bloop, and then they're back to 3D.
Mm. Just mind blowing, absolutely mind blowing.
Yeah.
And then can you tell us what sort of race, sorry, what sort of race this this female is?
Well, that is, it's not one that we particularly covered. It's just a piece of artwork that we used because it was different and
Well,
unique.
it looks mythic, and that's what's
Yeah,
interesting is a lot of our myths, a lot of our so-called tales are based on actual circumstances people have,
right.
have
Yeah, but a
experienced.
lot of people who have positive contact usually will have one being from where they originally came from, and when they incarnated here as a starseed to raise his consciousness,
Yeah.
they will be their sort of contact person that they will see
Okay.
in their dreams, their lucid state. Sometimes they meet them in person, sometimes they visit them astrally.
Yeah.
There's all different kinds of things. This, of course, is, the angelic core,
Yes.
as
This
I call
beautiful
it.
being, white robe,
You,
gold,
yeah.
and golden wings. Oh my God.
Yes, and J.J. Hurtak, Dr. J.J. Hurtak, who has many PhDs,
Yeah.
covers this section, which we also call the Elohim.
Does he narrate it all? Does he?
He does. Yeah, he's
Oh
on
my gosh!
camera
Oh,
and
brilliant!
he narrates the section and he narrates a few other sections towards the end. So,
Absolutely brilliant. And then you've got
yeah.
one also who have had this kind of contact. Is that right? Um,
Well, he had contact. He was
oh, he had
taken by,
contact.
he literally, when he was a young man, was taken by Enoch and
Mhm.
traveled the universe under and being taught all about the universe, the beings, everything. He has a book out, which is called The Keys of
Geez,
Enoch,
yeah, it's remarkable.
which is mind blowing,
Mhm.
right? And you go, anybody who has a mind to write that book is a brainiac,
Yeah, yeah,
right? I mean, and I always wanted to meet him. The first time I met him, he came to the screening of Stranger at the Pentagon. He really liked it because, I encoded a lot of Melchizedek in there
yeah.
and different things. I cover Melchizedek and the Pleiadians in the documentary.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, I mean, he does that. Desiree Heart Attack. She also talks about Arcturus. She talks a little bit about the Elohim in a few of the other sections as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
Those are
Wonderful.
the tall grays. Some
Yes, yeah.
positive, some are negative.
What can you tell us what this is? This sort of purplish blue section. They're in a pyramid. There's two beings in a pyramid. Maybe one's an angel. I can't tell.
Yeah, one
But
one has wings. That's a Merkaba in the
Merkaba.
middle,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
And so you're when you meditate, let's just say if everyone listening meditates, it would behoove you to use this imagery and place yourself in there
Yeah.
with your angel and the Merkaba. Angels and advanced beings travel in Merkaba, right? It's interesting because what happens is when they're traveling and when they're going to do their exit, the the top triangle and the bottom triangle lift and then they step out of the Merkaba. I did a little bit of the Merkaba in The Stranger at the Pentagon,
Yes.
with Valiant Thor and his crew, and especially Anaya, who's also a Melchizedek master and a created being like Valiant. So these are, this will put you in a higher state of meditation.
Yeah. Fantastic. It's an amazing image with it looks like sacred geometries or some kind of
Yes,
language
exactly. And you don't
on a
have to
whole level.
understand it because it automatically understands you.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's what's great about it.
We're connecting with it on a soul level. Yeah.
That's
That's
right.
beautiful.
Yeah.
And then you also have an image of the Earth dividing, like a cell dividing, which I guess is 3D Earth, and then 5D Earth. I don't know. Is that what was?
Well, it is. This is probably where Daryl Anka, who channels Bashar,
Yes.
right? In that section, um, the Sasani or the Greys that he talks about live on a parallel Earth. I believe it's 300 years in the future. So he's channeling his self,
Yes.
Bashar,
Yes.
300 years behind, but the channeling happens instantaneously. There's no time lapse. And I've done a few movies with Daryl that I cast for him. One
Oh,
was Bashar
wonderful.
First Contact, which was great, and another one's called Alienated, which is on Amazon Prime. And so I met the channeler who taught him how to channel. He's a brilliant channel.
Hmm.
And so what's interesting is he's in the hybrid section because those grays needed human DNA. They were once human and they went more into science and lost their spiritual way
Oh,
and emotions and all of that.
yeah.
So what they did is they figured out a way to, with permission, use DNA from this earth, right? Because they can ask for sole permission And then what they did is they built themselves up. So Bashar, I believe, is the third. The tall grays, I can't remember where they were, but there are seven hybrids. And when they get to the seventh, they will be completely human again.
Oh,
Um,
interesting.
yeah, so Bashar looks like a little gray, but with big human eyes,
Okay.
right? He doesn't have hair, but he's small. But then the females, most of them have hair, right? So we have artist representations that Daryl had done that
Okay.
he lent us to use in the film.
Oh, fantastic. I'm
Yeah,
proud that he's participating. Now, when we
yes,
see someone, it looks like they're asleep and they're lying down. This is
they're
just
getting abducted.
yeah, it looks you can see from the lines they're being
Yeah,
lifted up,
yes.
which is amazing, because in a sense, if you look at the films where people are abducted, they do something similar. And I'm trying to think of the really
It's
fitting.
all different. It could be instant teleportation. Some come
Yeah,
through
yeah.
the walls and bring you out that way,
Yes, yeah, or go you go through a portal, you're pulled
or
into a
you go through, they open up a portal,
yeah,
or it's
yeah,
it's different different things with different races and their
yeah.
technologies.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, after that, we go to an image of, looks like a gray who is
Right.
maybe on a ship and hitting sort of holographic buttons. Um,
Right. This
like,
is
no,
this is what this is where we talk about experiencers,
okay.
right? A lot of experiencers will have an experience, whether it's with a being like a Zeta human or something like that. And even the good ones can look like this as well, even though they're a little scary looking, right?
Yeah, yeah,
But when you see
yes,
them, you feel the energy off of them, right?
yeah,
You will feel you will feel love,
mhm,
or you might feel fear, but Yvonne says in all most of her abduction cases, that what happens is that they get used to it after a while, and then they realize this was supposed to happen because they're waking them up to do a service to help raise consciousness on Earth, whether it's through environmental issues, whether it's raising their own spiritual vibration, whether it's writing a book and sharing their experiences, you know, any things like that. But what they do is they will bring people up and they'll put them in front of these screens, and they will see a riot of imagery that stays within their subconscious. And then that being when they're back on Earth, those images and things will be assimilated over time, like a time capsule, right? Like
yeah,
the little contact. Remember the contact pills with all the little dots in it? And it'll come through them with intuition, and then if they want to move forward with their mission, if you want to call it a mission, then they will. But usually when they do, they get incredible gifts, right? It could all of a sudden they have amazing ESP, or all of a sudden something that they were stuck in, they're no longer stuck.
yeah,
Um, there's been many, many, many cases of people like this, so.
yeah.
So this is just them sort of programming a panel, what you see in the film. This teaser really is meant just to be a riot of imagery.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
Yeah, and that's
yeah,
what I wanted it to be, so
yeah.
everyone can go, wow, what's that? What's that?
Exactly. In
That
the
kind
actual
of thing.
documentary, it goes more slowly and has a
Yeah,
lot of narration and a real connection
absolutely.
to viewer. It's not just
Right.
so I wanted to move on to these huge reptilians that look like very scary dinosaurs. Looks like a family of them.
Yes, yes. And
Thanks.
I don't cover them. It's an image that we
Okay.
use, but when I look at these beings, I see that there is a benevolence in them as well, because you can always see it in the eyes, even though they may look horrifically scary. I myself, over the years, in meditation, when I go deep into what I call the universal or cosmic internet, I will see beings from other places.
Wow.
And sometimes they are just freaking scary looking, but they're just emanating so much love,
Yeah.
and I mean, it really goes to show you it's what's on the inside that counts.
Yeah. Well, they're clearly a family and they seem quite close knit. So now when
Yes.
I'm looking at them, I'm not so horrified. And I see what you mean. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Those are blue Syrians there. Yeah, those are blue
What?
Syrians,
Oh.
Octurians.
So they're literally blue. What we're looking at looks like
They're
a
literally blue. Yeah.
child. Yeah. Blue eyes.
Uh,
Lit it up with yeah,
Octurians will be this blue, or they'll be milk white
milk
as
white.
well.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Really beautiful. You would think we'd be like, but they're very, very beautiful. And
Yeah.
do you remember what this being is who
That's
has
an Octurian.
that's the
Yeah.
Arcturian. Okay, so kind of human, but a much larger
Yes.
bald head, very tall, very thin, um,
Yes.
very blue eyes. Oh my word. Uh,
Yeah. They're amazing beings. They
yeah.
are so spiritual.
This looks like a human reptilian hybrid,
It
or is
it
this
is.
it
Yes,
is
it
okay.
is a
So it's a
benevolent
woman but with
one.
scales.
Yeah, they just, they look a little different.
Yeah, yeah,
There are reptilian hybrids walking on Earth right now,
yes.
um, that carry that DNA, but they don't look like a reptilian, right? Because reptilians they have an incredible memory complex. They are brilliant, brilliant beings. And so, when they use it for good, it's great. When they use it for bad, it's worse.
It's bad. It's very, very
Right.
bad. Yeah, I knew a woman who was part reptilian because she came from one of those families, very powerful families. And she said her kids would say, Mom, don't do the thing with your eyes. And she said, Well, don't make me angry because they would go to the slits. She
Yeah.
would start to shapeshift in little ways. Yeah,
Reptilians. Yeah.
it's pretty intense. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It would be a very intense moment. And then we have a few more grays, good gravy.
That's
And
Anton. That was Commander
oh,
Anton back
yeah, really
there from
beautiful,
Mount
peaceful indeed.
Shasta.
Yeah, oh, that's a beautiful image right there. So that's an,
Yeah, they're all part of the angelic core,
yeah,
right?
okay.
So
So,
and they're all Melchizedeks, right? All of the cities in Agartha that are positive have a Melchizedek master that teaches the community. In Mount Shasta, his name is Adama,
mhm, mhm,
and he's a master teacher. There are, I think it's 20,000 um, Melchizedek Trinity teacher sons living on Earth. And what they do is they work with people from behind the veil. So they come to you in your dream states. Um, they can uh, put a thought in your mind, and you would think of it as intuition,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
And that kind of thing. So if you're really connected to them, you will connect. Like I really wanted to. I know my archangel is Michael, right? Always known that, but I always wanted to know my ministering angel. And ministering angels change; they switch out, right?
yeah.
But at the one time I wanted to know, I just kept saying every night before I went to bed, I said, please, I want to see my ministering angel.
Mm,
And then finally, after a year, in a lucid dream state, I went and I answered my door, and there stood a black man, and he said, Hi, I'm Jeremy.
mm.
He was my ministering angel. So I went and
Wow.
bought a black angel, and he sits at my bedside. Yeah, but I mean, he's human, right? He looks like he would have been out of South Africa.
So, is he human or is he in human form?
No, he's human.
He is
He's
human.
human. Yeah, but mostly for humans, you're going to have humans. right?
Wow.
Yeah, you're definitely gonna have humans.
And
So
he's following this very high mandate to
yeah,
to be an angel. Oh my gosh, that is so beautiful. And
yeah, those
lit
are
up with
Andromedans. Androm,
Andromedans. And he's blue with pointy ears. And what's he doing? His
yeah,
are up, and he's got these sort of blue sparkling or brilliantly lit up circles around his hands.
yeah, they're, but this is a higher dimensional,
Yes, yeah,
right?
yeah.
I would say he's six to seven, somewhere in there.
All right.
And they can, even though when they go into just spirit form and there's no more form of a human of what they used to be, they can recall that if they're visiting you so that you will see them, right, in a form that they want you to see, and then they will usually come to you in a form that's not going to scare you.
Yeah, yeah. This is just an amazing image. And the
Yeah,
third
it's
eye with that
beautiful.
sort of, it looks like a jewel embedded in the third eye. It's
Yes,
but it's
yeah,
pure light. It's just
yeah,
pure light.
yeah, yeah. These are like
Um,
beams of light for sure.
and I also had a question. Oh dear, there's a very intense
Yeah,
character.
that's a nasty gray.
Not a very pleasant gray. This looks okay. This looks like a mantid
It
being,
is,
and they're
yeah.
healers, aren't they?
They're what?
Healers? Are they energy
They
healers?
are, yes, they're amazing healers. Actually, I have a mantis hybrid talking about the mantis beings
Oh my
in the
gosh.
book because the mantis are the most enigmatic because they're usually seen on ships during abductions, standing in the background. Um, I astral traveled once and I saw giant mantises. I didn't feel any fear or
Okay,
whatever.
okay.
But what's interesting is in early on when I was being woken up, um, a mantis would come and sit above my door jamb at the top, and it would be there for 3 days. And then
Oh,
I knew after the third day, I was going to have a major experience with the master teachers,
oh my word.
right? And one time I went to do a seminar in Mount Shasta, and they put me in a seedy hotel or motel, and I did not feel safe there,
Yeah.
right? But when I arrived at my door, they had these blocks with the numbers on it. Mantis sitting right on top of the block, and he or she stayed there the entire duration that I was in Mount Shasta.
Okay, so you're being watched over.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
So you would think of them and beetles as super consciousness.
they're okay, so they're very large beetles as well, beetle people.
Well, I haven't seen a beetle person, but if you see a beetle
Yeah.
or something of that nature in your dreams or imagery, then that means that it's super consciousness that's
Wow.
coming, that's coming to assist you.
Wow. I have had dreams about ladybugs, mainly because I've always loved them. I don't
Oh
know
yeah,
about butterflies.
they're great. Ladybugs are great.
Absolutely. And then it looks like push-up warriors, would you say?
Yeah,
They're cat people in
there's a
uniform.
gentleman up in Canada who has been in contact with many feline races. And he goes through them and tells you their names and who they are and what they do and that kind of thing. I remember when I was waking up many moons ago, and I used to, once they uh, uh, awaken my astral body so I could astral travel off of Earth. Then I started going into other worlds and I was seeing all different kinds of beings. And one of the first beings I saw were felines, and they were just amazing looking and they were very benevolent and that kind of thing. But this guy, he must be connected to them in some way, shape, or form
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
he talks about all the various races of beings.
Well,
that are feline.
how do we even find these people, Craig? I mean, this is
Yeah,
just
well, I've been studying this since I was 26.
okay.
And that's why they asked me to write it, because I've been studying contactee cases the whole time. So in the book, in here, and I know you have the book.
Mhm.
If you go to the back of the book where it says further reading,
Yes.
that's your bibliography.
Okay, yes.
So if you like the Clermers, you could go buy the entire book, right? That was a Wendell Stevens book, Colonel Wendell Stevens, who met with over 60 contactees in his life and stayed there and studied them, and then wrote books about them and their actual experiences
Yeah.
and why they were here, who they are, what's their agendas, all of those kinds of things. So I put it there and where you could go to, because all of those books are out of print. But if you go to that website, you can get them in a PDF and read them.
Wonderful. And I see that also you've got some images or information from Kathleen Martin, whom we've had on Nice
Yes.
Roundtable. She's a dear. And what a story about her aunt.
Oh,
Yeah,
completely,
Martin.
completely.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, she does the Zeta Reticulans, and we also talk about Junior. We did the very first image of Junior from Betty's bust, and then the description of his blue silver skin, his gecko-like eyes, because he did look more human
Yeah.
than the Zeta Reticulans.
Oh my God.
So it's very fascinating. You get to hear a little bit more about that story and see great imagery there. She's on camera and talks all about it. Yeah,
Oh,
she's a
wonderful.
deer. Yes, she's a deer.
I'm so glad. And again, another is it these are
Yeah, that's
men?
that's Archangel Michael.
Oh,
With
wonderful.
the blonde hair. In the middle is Father Melchizedek.
Okay.
And then that is Lord Metatron.
Oh,
Of course, all of the angelic forces.
yeah.
And Gabriel's in something somewhere else, who's also in this, and these incredible outfits that they wear. So the trine of protection is Michael, Melchizedek, and Metatron, right? When I was writing this book initially, and the autobiography of Extraterrestrial Saga, which are, this is book one. Sylvia Brown wrote the foreword. I was very lucky and
Oh, wow.
so blessed. I mean, she wrote over 60 books, and she said, I only wrote one forward at the beginning of my career, and now late in life, you will be number two. I reject everybody else. And she goes, I'm so happy to do it. And she loved it. I mean, she's
Oh,
amazing.
yeah.
So, but what was I saying before that? Oh, Michael Metatron
Yeah,
Melchizedek.
agree.
So, yeah, I was having to write about some of the bad forces in the universe, and I still did artwork on them, so people could see them, because all of these books are illustrated. Even the ET Species Almanac, everything's illustrated. And so I meditated, and Archangel Michael came to me, and he showed me um, a symbol to use. And then so we put the symbol at the bottom of their pictures, so that I was worried that maybe, dark forces on Earth would use their pictures to conjure and stuff like
Mhm.
that. Now they can't,
Okay,
because
great.
it's protected. Let me get it so I can show you what it looks like. It's the
Oh,
three M's. Cobalt blue is Michael, gold is Melchizedek, silver is Metatron, and then it says Universal Seal of Protection.
Yeah.
And by the way, people can get these on the website on the same page you can order the DVD and all of that. It's the last thing,
The autobiography of an ET.com.
et.com. Yeah, and then you
Okay,
go to other books
other books.
tab. And I'll tell you, in all of the things that people have told me, it really, really works. I mean, one instance, a friend called me, he goes, "Oh, I need some of those protection cards. My friend just moved it into a place, and there's a poltergeist that keeps throwing." She was going through a box of pictures, and it throws the pictures in the air, and it catches them on fire.
Oh,
And
nice.
she's terrified, and so I sent them to him. And then
Oh,
about a week later, just in my mind, I saw this witchy looking, not a demon, but a bad spirit
yeah.
fly out of a house.
Oh,
And in that second, he called me and said, "It worked. She's gone."
good, good.
Right.
Yeah.
So I keep them everywhere. I keep them at one in every room in my car,
Yeah, the
my
card, definitely.
put it on my as my screensaver. All my friends have it on as a screensaver on their phone, so it's always
Excellent,
with them.
excellent.
Yeah.
It's great. That's a great gift to humankind that you're offering.
Yes.
That's really,
Yeah, and directly from him. So,
yeah. Oh, I love it. Just let me ask quickly, why this huge influence of the Melchizedek teachings and presence? Why do you believe that?
well, this is, when we leave, when we're finished here, we go back to Melchizedek. There's 490 university planets,
Yeah.
and we will go back there and we will study Melchizedek. People from other universes and come here to
Mhm.
study at Melchizedek. It's considered one of the largest incredible schools. By the way, that is where the Starseed program comes from, is out of Melchizedek as well. The Melchizedek run that. And Tehran here, this guy, who's
Mhm.
a Nordic,
Mhm.
he's the head of the Starseed program. So he trains Starseeds before they come in. About what to expect. And you go through the whole process in the books,
Oh,
with him and learn about duality and how to overcome duality. You actually go through the book because he's dualistic, because every 200,000 births in the universe in the fully conscious worlds, one person will be born dualistic. That way, the fully conscious beings will stay benevolent towards dualistic beings because they have no experience with them.
yeah.
And the dualistic being will learn from already fully conscious beings,
Yeah.
right? Who will have a unified consciousness, meaning the heart and mind are one. So there is no more bad ego. You still have a healthy ego, right? In that respect, but you now understand and have mastered your emotions. And so everything is heart based. And that's a lot of the incredible teachings that come out of Melchizedek. I've always been fascinated with this. So that's why I covered it in the book, and I cover it in the documentary as well.
Yeah, absolutely amazing. And as you're sharing that, it's going to become better known and more people will key into it in conscious
Yes.
ways, which is really wonderful. Absolutely
Yes.
wonderful. Um, this is kind of interesting because what this shows, let me see if I can play this. Yeah, there's at one point there's a ship over what looks to be just a devastated town with just rubble on the streets. And there's a ship, and then you see this brilliant light pouring down from that this round metallic.
Right.
And it reminds me of what our friend, our co-host Rama Arjuna will talk about, that his White Knight Ashtar Command contacts will explain that with the people in Gaza and also in maybe Baalbek and Beirut, etc., places that have been attacked, the ships are bringing people up onto friendly ETs,
Right.
bringing people up onto the ship to not only heal them in terms of their physical wounds, but to heal their trauma as well. And they don't have to go back unless they're really ready. And that's what this kind of made me think of. Was that at all in your mind or anybody's mind?
Well, this actually is a representation of a Zendra. And Zendras come from the Alpha Centaurians, which are a Nordic race that are very tall. They have many contacts with people in South America. Um, we have Sixto Paz, who has been in a Zendra over 100 times. He has face to face with the Alpha Centaurians. There's another man named Ricardo Gonzalez who also has face to face with them. In fact, Ricardo brought several people to Mount Shasta, and they were able to, Ontaral is the name of the being, and he brought his ships over for them to see.
Oh, wow.
And then Ontaral told through him, which I think it was 7 people to bring to the foot of the Zandra so he could meet them. And they did. And one of my friends was there.
Wow.
And it's amazing. So a Zandra is a portal, but in the portal, if you were there and you stepped over into the portal, if they were on their ship, you would be on their ship. If they were on their home world, you would be on their home world. So this is a Zendra forming, right? And then you see when it comes out, and then you see the beings that are in it, right? So that section is amazing, about the Alpha Centaurians.
Oh,
So
word.
yeah, they're contacting lots of people down there. I mean, I've met I think 4 people that have. So it's that they're the people um down in South America, it's like second nature to them to see the
Yes, yes,
Alpentarians in their towns because they come to help them. They
yes.
come to help them, to help heal their sick, to make sure that their crops are growing,
Okay.
to give them ideas, how to make their civilization better, things of that nature. They're very caring beings. I know this, from talking to Dr. Frank, who he was friends with the Valiant Thor from 1959 to 2008 when he passed away, is they can come here and they can help guide you, but they're not going to do it for
They're
you.
going to do the work for us. Yeah.
You have to do the work to make the change,
Yeah.
right? They can implant a thought in your mind, right? Just like a dark being can implant a thought in your mind, the angel, the devil as well, right? So they can also do that, but Valiant Thor came here for lived at the Pentagon for 3 years, working under the Eisenhower Nixon administration, going over a divine design to help eliminate sickness, disease, prolong life. Also talking to them about nukes and how bad they were, the environment, to go to free energy because you're polluting the planet. And, Nixon and Eisenhower wanted it, but it was the rest of the factions that turned it down, saying that nurses, doctors, pharmaceutical companies, electric companies would all go out of business. Well, that's the point, right? We're all living here. Everything should be free,
Yes, yeah, yeah. Yes,
right? So, because that's how it is up in their world,
yeah.
right? Everybody works, everybody has a job, they switch out jobs on all the ships. There's a permanent crew, and then there's a crew that comes in that will be on one ship for 3 months doing one job, then they'll transfer to a different ship and do a different job as they grow up. That because they live so long, they're not considered an adult until they're 70.
Yes, yeah, I love that.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Right. It's so much time to just develop as an individual. I really love it.
Yeah.
Do you know who this would be? Is this just another?
Well, this is the 4 faces,
Oh,
man, the bull, the eagle. Desiree Hurtak talks about this. Um, showing us that um, in the cosmos that we are represented as well. And and she talks about the Octurian gateway that is moving closer towards us, which means it's moving into the Milky Way, and that it's going to really start to lift us up even more spiritually so that we can finally fuse together and become, fully conscious beings,
Okay.
right? Where we use 100% of our brain instead of 33%.
All right, wonderful. You know,
That was on Tyrell. That was on
this
Tyrell. Yeah,
this person,
that's Ivika. That's on Tyrell's wife.
this is white face, white hair,
Yeah,
beautiful blue
yeah,
eyes.
Nordics.
She's got some golden sort of light emanating from the throat area.
Yeah, that's her suit underneath.
Okay.
Um, and these are actual representations that were done directly from the people who are having face to face. So
Oh my
I
God.
was able to contact the artist and get permission to use them because this is actually what they look like.
Just amazing. Absolutely beautiful. I mean, some of these beings, you feel that just looking at them, you're going to be changed, especially
Oh, completely.
if you were to see them face to face, definitely.
You would cry, but a lot
Yeah,
of people
yeah,
write me and tell me that. They say, when I read your books and I see the pictures, I just connect.
yeah,
I
yeah,
connect and I cry and
yeah,
I realize,
yeah.
that I'm missing being a cosmic being or being back where I lived or, things like that. A lot of people, everyone, once they wake up, they know where they're from.
Mhm. That's a beautiful phrase, and it's a truth, because there's that beautiful sense of connection. And who knows how many different shapes we've taken over the millennia, and how many different lives we've lived, and who we've known and loved, and it's just absolutely phenomenal. And this little guy was
Yeah, that's Snake
what
Girl.
what
That's
is he?
Snake
Hey, girl.
Girl.
Oh, girl, sorry.
Yeah, she's a girl. She's a benevolent being. A lot of even, snake people live on Earth. They live on the inner Earth, some of them as
Yeah, yeah.
well.
Native
And
Americans know that. Yeah.
yeah, and I didn't get to choose what went on the book cover, and so when they sent it to me, I did all the artwork with artists for the book, right? But I didn't do that. I had a piece of artwork that was similar to this, and they liked it, so they had their artist create this, and they put it on the cover. And when I looked at it, I went, "Oh my God!" And then I looked deeper, and I went, "Oh, she's like, she's benevolent, um, that kind of thing." But then I thought, well, everyone who sees that cover picks it up,
Mm.
and they want to know what's inside
Yeah, yeah,
because it's so interesting,
yeah.
right? I mean, she did so well, they even put her on the cover of
Oh my word.
Nutbot. She's in the
Oh,
car.
Nuts book. Yeah.
She's in the
She's a great book
car.
also. Oh my golly. Yeah. As usual, I say to everyone as usual with Craig's work, you'll have moments where you get a slight chill because it's kind of intense, some of these beings and some of the experiences people have, it's beyond what we're used to. And yet you'll also be lifted, tremendously lifted. And
Yes.
you're saying reminded of things that you have known in other lives, in other dimensions, and you'll just come home to it, it will come home to you. And it's just a beautiful reminder of who we really are. So,
Yeah.
right. So, everybody, you can get the DVD at autobiography of an ET.com, and then it's under other books. You get the DVD.
Yes.
And so is it released now or what's going on with February?
It is. You
Oh,
got, they're right here. I just got the shipment a week ago, and I mean, literally, I had a lot of pre-orders.
okay.
So, hundreds already have gone out the door, and all of that. So, um, you know, so. when it goes streaming, the streaming price is going to be the same price as the DVD. So,
Where will it stream?
well, first it'll stream on January 1st on Vimeo,
Okay.
right? And that'll be the same price, $25.
Okay.
And then in 3 months after that, it'll be on all streaming platforms.
Wow.
And all of the prices will be different because the distributor says they each set their own price,
They do. Yeah.
right? So I don't know what it'll be. So, so this is sort of like the preview price. So I would just suggest people get the DVD if you have a DVD player, because you're going to just want to watch it over and over and over again.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much, Craig. It's really been fascinating.
Thank you.
Really a thrill. Again, everybody, watch the preview at Craig Campobasso's YouTube video under his name. And this is one for the books. Let me tell you, this is this is just a beautiful moment. If you've got in the slightest question as you look up at the night sky, who might be there, this is something not to miss. So huge blessings. Thank you, Craig. And
Thank you so much.
yeah, and the book, of course, is on Amazon. It's the bestseller.
It is, and it's also on the website if you want me to sign them.
Oh,
If you want to order more than one book, just email me and tell me what books you want. If there's multiple orders, that way you don't have to pay separate shipping for each one, and
oh,
then I'll
that's brilliant.
calculate it. Yeah, so just email me. You can email me through the website.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much.
Thank you so much.
Blessings. I think this film will go far as it should. And thank you again for being here, Craig.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, everyone.